Officially, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Options Income Launchpad Monday Market Kickoff. My name is Scott, and I will be your host. David, understood. Probably been on holiday, enjoying the Christmas season. Makes perfect sense. The New Year's. Glad to have you back. Good to see everybody. Happy New Year. If we haven't interacted since the start, 2026, best year yet. That's the theme. Best year yet. People be like, for what? Everything, anything, you name it. Best year yet. We deserve it. I think, especially in the market, that's our focus. We postured down a little yesterday. Just a little. Marginal, not like a market like caution, but more of just like a little breathe out maybe. Intel's gap. Ooh, okay, John. Yeah, haven't even got to it yet. I gotta stop yapping and get to it. I'm Scott. Here's our disclaimers. Always and forever, educational, illustrative purposes only. Nothing here is intended as a recommendation to buy or sell any security or financial product. We're not brokers or advisors, and we do not give any personalized investment advice. Any decisions you make are done so at your own risk, yada, yada, yada. It's always there. Let's do this. Oh, I got to change my slides. No more opening futures. We're going to just dive right in. Let's just dive right in. We'll do these same things, economic calendar and posture. We'll do the mindset for trades. We'll look at the opening range. We'll start looking to see what we think might be developing for the day even. Go through our list, and once again, you've got one or two more weeks for assessing, evaluating, and scoring your trading plan to be ready for us to go through our prioritization path. Okay, let's go. There we go. Let's go take a look at Intel. Intel was requested several ways. Let's make that a focus for us this morning for trading purposes. If I can get my watch list up, and there we go. Gapped up, ran a little, selling off a little. So it's up in this area. Now let's pull up the alert information. Alerts, and this is this one. Target one. We have a pretty good ask on this thing. I mean, it's moving around a little now, but we wanted to see it get up into this area here, 43. We got, how high did we get? 42. We got to 42. We wanted 43. That's here. Which is, if you want to know where that came from, I'll tell you. It's the highest probability of this high. What does that mean? Well, you can see the high is 44.02, and I think sometimes, we might be enticed to look to get that high. But how many times did it hit that? Once. It hit that once and then fell, and that was the highest it got, and then it fell. So I'm always a little cautious about am I going to ask for the highest? Now, you might be thinking, well, Scott, you're looking for 45 or 46. But that's because I'm looking for a higher high. But in the initial, hey, what's the higher probability of what we're going to get? If it double tops, I'll still get 43 or 44. If it goes through an ascending triangle, I'll still get 43 or 44. If it breaks out of that triangle, I'll get 46. If it just makes another flagpole like last time, I'll get 43 or I'll get that, and then I'll get the 46. But the thing for me is I'm thinking about where am I going to look to take some profits? And here's the hard thing is I know it's hard when you see that how much it was worth there. And now it's like, oh, I'm giving it all back. But just keep in mind, it's higher than it was. It's higher than it was. We're 8 minutes. Yes, Steven, I will go to the, I think I have it on. So, yeah, I'll go in there and look at it. So, yeah, this day has another 6 hours and 22 minutes. Something gapped it up, and then it may come down, and then it may go back up, and then, what could this candle look like? Well, it could look like this at the end of the day. And we'd be like, yeah, that looks great. That looks like it could hit our 43 target tomorrow. Now, if we're that close, what I would be thinking about is, so the 43. Let's come in here. Let's look at INTC. Did I not do it here? TNS, think or swim. I think is what you meant. Is that what you meant, think or swim? Yes, think or swim. Okay, so I lied. I thought I had it in this, but Intel trade price, I think. AMKR. Yeah, AMKR is looking good now, right? The patience up 200% plus, John. John's, it's a good one. We'll go look at that one too. Okay. What was the price? Wasn't it about $1? Yeah, I think that's what I got. It was $1. So let's just say we had. Sorry, I keep doing this. This was a January 40 for $1. January 40 for $1. Okay, and I'm going to add another slice. 46 is one of our targets. 43 is another target. And I can reorder by price. There's my now the stop when we first were thinking about this trade was 35.25. This is actually 10%. So obviously we wouldn't want to keep a stop at 35.25. So one of the things we could think is where could we maybe move the stop so that we're no longer taking, if I was around 300 of risk, I would have about 6 contracts. Yeah, something like that. It's the 5th. Okay, now this is the whole profile. Is that even at 36, if I have these 6 contracts and it dropped down to 36, I would lose the 400 current profit level, and I would take a $400 loss. So theoretically, you would say 800 is at risk, right? Then you look at, well, to gain what? What are you going to gain? Well, if it gets to 43, you get 1,600. That's 2-to-1 right there. And that's assuming you left the stop down there, that you didn't have an opportunity to tighten it up a little bit. So it's hard because it's easy to, when you see it gap and then it starts to sell off, you're like, oh, I want to keep that. And sometimes we'll pull some off, and then if it makes the move, you're like, ooh, if I would have kept that. Now, if it's pull off like, hey, I'm just going to pull one off just to get a little profit locked in. But yeah, this is the thought process behind like a good swing trade. Is we want to make sure we understand what's at risk. This is our initial risk was down here at 35.25. Let's put that in. It's not much more, 47. So we're gonna kind of go through the analyze. So if you haven't seen this before and you were like, wait, if you have a question, definitely ask, because I kind of want to just walk through what all of this is. And then how it correlates to the chart. So I've got these slices. You'll notice these are locked in now. So if you're a user of Thinkorswim, and we don't give recommendations, but if you're looking for a platform that has the analytical structure wired in this way so that you can what if, I believe Glenn used to use TradeStation and now also is on Thinkorswim. Inevitably, with if you're a technician, they've got great charts. That's the charts I use. But if you don't have this analyzed, you need unanalyzed. So other platforms have kind of similar structures, but a lot of people I've worked with find that when they try to find something that looks like this, where you can just see the stack of your trade, the levels, gains, losses, what ifs, what is this thing going to possibly provide? The other thing I can do, which is cool. So now if I go here, here's my Intel chart. Very conveniently, this is in the Heikin Ashi. Let me get rid of these lines. You guys are quiet. Is this the right conversation to have this morning? Everyone said, let's talk about Intel. And I figure this is a good swing trade to kind of think about. We'll go to AMKR next. But let me know. This is one of our recent trades. You can see what's happening even now. This is a nice perspective sometimes. Keep talking. This is a nice perspective, but this is the Heikin Ashi. And even though we look at that morning candle and it was turning red, we look at this candle and we're like, this looks great. This is expanding. Here you're saying, so this right here, you'll notice this is actually the price I got. I don't know what everyone else got. I got $1 even. I thought I put it on in this thing too, but I didn't. But I'm allowed to simulate it by putting it in and locking in this price right here. This now acts. No. See, Steven, you're saying that's the stock price, but this right here is the actual option price. So when you bought your option, the stock was at $37.50. But if you look at the alert for this option right here, the approximate cost was $1.01. And I usually tend to be pretty conservative here. A lot of times if it's $1.01, you'll maybe get 99, $1. Anyone else who took Intel, put what your fill price was. If you took the exact trade, and you can look at it, put what your fill price was. So when was the Intel? 1218. Nope, 1219. 85. Ooh, Sarah came in the next day. Probably. And got an even better price. It's still a valid alert, same alert, right? And so, sorry. Excellent. That's a great price. So, if you look at, let's put that in. 85, the risk would only be 400, and you can see that it doesn't change substantially, right? It changes the risk a little bit, but that's Once we enter that trade, there you can see it's about 100 more of risk. Actually, no, it was pretty significant. I think it was like 36 up here, so maybe it was bigger than I thought. Anyway, okay. 101, Doug says. 104. And then look, here's the thing. If double your money, David says. If it's close, or at some point, some people will do that. They'll put in an order to sell half if it doubles, and then they figure at that point everything else is pure profit because they've already made back what they put into the trade. And it's more than profit; it's a gain, and then there's hopefully more gain. But anyway, sure, that's valid. Once the trade is on, it's your trade. We give you a couple of guidelines to have, but right, that's our belief is once you take it, you're going to be thinking, maybe you watch it more or less frequently than other people. Maybe you have other rules of where you take some profit off the table. Maybe or there's a couple of guidelines, and then you understand a little better, hopefully, where those guidelines come from. But here's the trade in the analyze. Now, the other thing I can do is I can say slices to charts. And all I need to do is put it right here, just this one. Some people use huge arrays of different time frames. So if you had 4 different time frames that you like to look at the same time, you could do, maybe not. Okay, let's just do this one. Okay. Sorry, I was like, you can do this. Let me move this down. Okay. This is my current stop level. This is where we are now. That's my first target. That's my second target. I don't know what this line is. Price level 1. Something else, but that's fine. So what it's done is it's taken the analysis and puts it into this chart format, so I can visualize. And here's the thing, right? Even if you're day trading, if you start using the platform, you can start to get where you're pretty fast, and it's nice to see. If I think here and here. What am I making? What am I losing? What does it look like on the chart? Because you can see, it looks pretty reasonable. I think if you catch another one of these moves, and if I were to equate this, I would say we're right there on that day. Sorry, I should have pointed at this day. Today is kind of like this day right here. This is just getting started when you look at this. And so my thought is, let's see if this thing can crank out that last piece. But I want to be ready. So if it hits 43, I'll have an order that says, as soon as it hits it, sell this number of contracts. It's a conditional or contingent. Some people fluidly use those two terms. If the stock hits, one of the other things that's nice, some people get superstitious about setting stops on options because they're like, the market makers are going to try to pick you off. Tell me if you've heard that. The market makers are gunning for you. They're gonna yank it, push it down there, get you. The thing about a contingent or a conditional order is it's a held order. Held by who? The broker. Your broker has a computer that says, okay, if this happens, I'm going to immediately fire off this order. So the only person who knows it's there is you and the broker's computer. That's not an order that the market makers know exists. It doesn't exist on the books until the price trigger. So if you're of that superstition, it's a good way to put stops on that are not visible to the market makers. to either attract them or detract them, but simply it exists around a certain price level. Let me know if you have questions about that. Okay. Lastly, if you look at my line, I want you to notice that every day here touched that line and touched it for at least a little bit. I didn't want to be like at the very high of this, but close. So I'm thinking the probability of catching this high point, if that's what it is again, that's what I want right there. I didn't ask for the highest point. That's up here. I asked for this. Reasonable. That's my word, reasonable. Now, 46 is a lot more ambitious. That's where it's like, can we catch that? And the thing that we should be thinking about and doing is, if it looks like it's slowing down, we're willing to pull this down pretty quickly. We're going to be maybe moving our stop loss up underneath it. So let's talk about that for 1 second, and then we'll move on from this trade. Moving our stop loss up, how? So if I move in on this, you can see this is a great perspective. It keeps me grounded for a swing trade, so I don't get distracted. My stop when we first started this trade would have been at 35.25. That's this line down here, right? That's this line down here. And now as it's starting to move, we're thinking, well, wait a second. You know, I've caught this. At least using the Heiken Ashi, I should be able to put my stop here and maybe even here, starting to follow this on its pathway up, like back in this area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that if you didn't catch this, at least you didn't suffer this. It helps you keep in the momentum while the momentum is there. And the other thing I would do is, as I get towards the highs, I'm going to switch my chart. I'm going to go down to a 4-hour chart. And that's going to get me a little closer, a little sooner. So trade management is such an integral part. Now, that's not something that we can really communicate via alert, right? Where it's like, now I'm going to do it. That's why I try to talk about these trades while we're together, right? That's why we check in on them. We'll do the same thing with AMKR. So hopefully you either learn from it to prepare for the next one and get comfortable, ready to take some alerts with us, or if you're in the alert and it's helpful in managing the trade. Okay. It is giving a lot of it back for sure. It always sucks to see that, but I'm gonna keep my eye on the ball, keep my eye on the prize, stay patient, let the day play out. Famous last words. Okay. Let's actually move down and go to took some of the high, same with, okay, there you go. Good deal. So John's looking maybe at the other charts. Trying to shave some off. All right, let's go look at AMKR. Actually, let's go to the market first for 1 second. See how things are looking in there. Looks pretty good for a turn, actually. I mean, it's early in the day. We have this. It's turning up a little bit. It's pinching down here. So early. Well, let's see how this day plays out. A little bit stronger still, and we might actually see that turn to a full pinch rather than just a downward pinch. That could trigger some things. We'll take a look at that and see what we think. Okay, so let's go through. It's very interesting as I look around. Oh, Teradyne is moving. We were looking for that one, and it just sort of took off. Okay, let's get to the top of this list. Actually, I want to look at the VIX, and then we'll go. So, interestingly, markets up, VIX is up. Markets up, VIX is up. What does that mean? Well, that means that there's some uncertainty in this move still. Right? One of the things that we actually said we're looking for, I don't know why this is trying to explain margin to me, is, and in order to increase our score, VIX looks great. It's topped out a couple of times around this 18 level. Lows are getting lower. The most recent push up, we haven't even gotten back above 15. This could even get up into this area here, right below the moving averages. Like if it just sort of popped into that and then rolled over and came back down, still a lower high, still a sign of de-escalation. That's the kind of market that's going to make us feel a little bit more bullish. That's going to raise our VIX score. I would expect we see more, and we started to see a little bit of money shifting into growth sectors, industrials, financials. Tech's always a little bit, sometimes it can just go smashing back up. It's a little iffy right now from a leadership standpoint. Okay, let's go to the top of the list. So, yeah, if you're like, I should be scrambling and jumping into trades, this tells you, you know what? You don't need to be thinking that way. Stick to the plans. Okay. Also, I'll tell you this, day traders. my tendencies to day trade typically exist around, I would say, 20 or above. Right. So if you look, these days here are days that, and if you look over in this side as well, it's not a lot of them, but on those days, the market really has big trending moves. The largest moves relative. And then when you look at some of like these days, like in here, if you're ever like, man, sometimes day trading is really just, you can't find anything. All of this, right? It's harder. And you can see we're in that area. So there's just not a lot of swings in this. It's much more muted in its volatility, in its ranges. Okay. Just about tailoring expectations. Apple. Yeah, I think Apple is really, if it breaks these lows, I'm just gonna, at this point I'd actually have to say that I'm gonna remove this. I think I took it off the opportunity list. Did I give it one more chance? I guess I did give it one more chance to stay above the 50. But realistically, kind of feels like it's in consolidation at this point, and it needs one of these rather than, we're going to try to, I don't know. I think that's how I see it now. I wouldn't trade it unless it does that. AMKR, nice move, good pop. So entry, and then we caught this day that was kind of iffy, and then never broke. This one was tough. And then, it kind of smashed on up. Even today, are we at the first? I think we hit a level. Let's go talk about it. Blow it up a little bit. I kept me in with my optimism. Oh no! What if it would have gone the other way? um. Okay, so let's see. What's our thought here? Did we hit potential take profit target? Oh, interestingly, we did not quite get there. Oh, we did get there. 43. Yeah. Okay, I did take some on Friday. That's right. Well, I can't see my other one right now. But and then it looks like we hit our second one today. So both targets are hit. Primary target 46.50. So this was one where we're just looking for it to get back to the old high, actually. It was a steep move. I don't think we have a trend that supports, right? So what I'm saying is I wasn't looking for this, especially not this. I think I was just looking for, yeah, we got a good reward to risk right there. That's what the trade was looking for, and it hit it. Yeah. Who's in it? Who's taking profits? Yeah, I mean, for me, the move's over. You know, the move I was looking for was actually 46.50, which again, if you look at this, where's the high of this one here? I'm in an area where I think I've got a high probability of hitting that, and you can see it did hit that tight stop on what's left. Love it, love it. Yeah, no reason to let this fill this gap. It got all the way back up. That's what this trade really was just a retest. Why was the alert triggered in the beginning? Momentum. You can see we had a huge surge of momentum here. Pulled back, stabilized well above the 50. That was it. That was the trade. We were looking for that momentum to come back in. And you can see we had to be patient with it. Never broke support. This was the support level we were trading off of. It's one of those where we caught a good first day. We actually had this with another trade recently, REAL. Caught a great first day. And then it just stalled and stalled and stalled and stalled. And, we kept saying, look, if you're losing patience, you could tighten your stop. It just sort of sat there. And then all of a sudden, right at the end, bloop, 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 made a move. I get it. There's plenty of times I'm not in those. I lose patience sometimes. And other times, it's just like, hey, can we hold on? Can we just, let's just see what happens. It hasn't, even on this day here, the thing for me on this day here was how little volume there was. I was like, there's hardly any sellers there. And then you can see the next day it just exploded. So that kind of felt hollow, like a institutional flashbang or something, trying to distract. Didn't break support, real low volume. I think it was the same thing on Intel that I saw there that was just like, no, let's just see. Anyway. So yeah, and then for me, the levels are hit. Could this thing easily jump to 50? Oh God, yes. Right now, it's like, oh, it hit the levels and it looks great. But tomorrow, if it's up here, everyone's going to be like, why'd you set your levels there? Right? But the levels gave 4 to 1 on the stock. And I think it was, and that's reward to risk. So it's not like the option did 4 to 1. The risk. It's about, so, yeah, anyway. All right, let's keep going. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. I have this little, so I have a couple of bonsai trees. Everyone knows because my Alexa alerts me right as we wrap up our meetings. And there's a little fruit fly type thing, and I asked ChatGPT, and it's like, well, sometimes that could mean you're overwatering it, or sometimes that you're under. And I'm like, yeah, that's not helpful. Okay, let's keep going. The over. I don't feel like it because it's winter. Like I'm getting some yellow leaves. All right, I'm going to trust it. Maybe I'll take a picture and see if it helps. All right, let's get to the watch list. Okay, Amazon. Yeah, this could be looking to try to break the other way. If you notice, we have a little bit of something like this happening. Also kind of feels this way, but if it breaks out of this, yeah, we could see this thing start trending. Not yet, though. AVGO pulling back. AXP. Yeah, look at that strong turn. 2%. BAC still going. Yeah, that was tough. We talked about that. If you took the trade, definitely would have been a valid trade. We talked about the possibility, but even today it gapped up and ran very quickly. Same with Citi. Citi was a good catch. Hopefully some of you caught that one. Yeah. Did we talk about building this one on Friday? I can't remember. Who was there on Friday? What did we do with Citi on Friday? That was the one I think I liked the best, but we didn't end up building a trade on it. Caterpillar together, anyways. Close to, how close to earnings are we? Oh, Steven, look at that. You're right. Look at it. Sneaky down there. Good catch. And that's the window for the whole earnings season, keep in mind. Remember, financials are now the opening act. I always used to use Alcoa. I think I tell this all the time. AA, Dow component, always used to be like the front of the earnings season. And it still is kind of, but it's actually towards the tail end of the earnings for financials. So Citi is on 114 before market. So that's a week and 2 days. And if you look at BAC, 114, same thing. AXP, no. All right, let's keep going. CIEN. Ooh, look at that one. It opened a little higher and then just came all the way back down. Never actually, just had a little bit of a pinch, but never all the way up. Coherent, same response. So interesting. So interesting. Credo dropping. Cisco. This is certainly this trade. We showed some winners previously, but this Cisco trade failed. Did we do a trade, or was this just one that I can't remember? Sometimes I can't remember which ones I take and which ones I put out. Delta. Ooh, look at see. It's too much. It's 4.5%. And I didn't like it enough to be like, I'm waiting for an entry to pop. Yeah, so it's the Dow is really looking strong today, 1.2%. Fox is looking strong. Confirmation. Well, there's potential for a trade there. This is really looking quite favorable. I'd be looking for this. I'm going to put this up, actually. Let's I'm going to take, not all the way, but I'm going to go from here out to there. And oh, come on. Whoa. What have you done? Sorry. Sometimes charts go crazy. You guys ever have that happen? Is that just me? Let me get off my drawing tools. Okay, let's move this over. I mean, you can see I can kind of put this in a couple of areas where, it makes sense. Let's leave one in here, and then let's get one more and put it here. Oh, it's not going to let me. Hold on. Let's get 14 days. And let's move this. And we'll go like this. Now you can see, you're like, oh, you didn't put it at the bottom. But I didn't draw it from the bottom. I drew it from the bodies. So I'm being consistent. And the same thing, small pullback. What am I looking for? I think this would be what I'd be looking for. That would be 81, 82 on 122. And that's what I would start to look to build the trade with. Stop loss, maybe down here, maybe only just below these. Actually, at this point, probably just below the bodies. I don't think I need to go all the way down. Just below the body. So, let's see. Maybe 72, 75. We're around 75 now. That'd be about 2.25. 2.25 risk. And then I'm going to get 75 to just about 82. So we'll call it 7. So 7 to the upside, 2.25 downside. Oh, come on now. What's going on? 7 to the upside, 2.25 to the downside, 3.11. Yeah, good reward to risk, 3 to 1. 3 to 1. We should be able to move stops. Yeah, that looks pretty valid. We'll see if that holds up. If at the end of the day, it's looks, or near the end of the day, sometimes we get a little bit of favorable move in the morning, and then the afternoon gives it all back, and then you're like, well, wait. If I'm still down in this area, I might not have this at all. This little thing turns back down. This is all still fluid and open all day. This is going to change. Please recalculate reward to risk ratio. Okay, so right now, so let's do it. Let's do for real. So if I'm at, let's say it looks exactly like it does now. So my entry is around 74, 79. And this is my target, which is 81, 82. 81, 82. That's my target. And then my stop loss, we said we're going to put it, not necessarily, you could be down here or like right up underneath, for me, right under these bodies. So that's going to be somewhere around 72.50 to 72.75. So if I'm stopping out at 72.75, right? We just go ahead and insert this down here so you can kind of see. This is what I'm looking at here. So here to here, $74.79 minus 72.75, $2.04. Okay, so that is my risk, 204, which is from here to down in there, right? Risk level 204 to 225, maybe even up to 250, really. And then over here, we're going to have, we 81.82 minus 74.79. That's $7.03 on this side. 703 divided by 2.04. Oops. Don't cheat, Scott. 2.04. 3.4. 4 to 1. Almost 3.5 to 1. That looks pretty good. So, yeah. If you're thinking, Scott, are you thinking of an alert, Scott? I sure am. Looks just like that. First Solar. So you can see First Solar went up and now it's coming back down. So this is a couple of things. This could be what you're looking for an entry. Now that it's coming back down, because you're like, ooh, this was maybe a little too fast, or you might be thinking, maybe this resistance level is coming into play. I don't know. Follow your rules. This one is not going to be an alert. GE turned pretty fast. Gold is turning. GM still setting up, but I like it. Momentum is strong. Not much selling pressure here. Well above the 50. So it seems to be doing pretty well. Google just kind of keeps on pushing. Stochastics turned over, but it never really folded very much. But if you think this was the consolidation, then this thing looks like it's getting ready to go again and reignite. So we'll keep our eye on that. Goldman's up big today. Big. Oh, the financials. They just turned so quickly. We didn't get an alert. Would I have alerted GS? We talked about it. The hard part was it was a big entry. Kind of went sideways for a little bit here. We were still thinking about it. Same thing with Morgan. They all kind of turned quickly. I would say Citi was the one that was the alert that maybe should have been. I'm a little rueful. We talked about it on Friday, and I might have to go back and listen to my own recording to see what should we have gone a little harder. But obviously in hindsight, it looks phenomenal. It looks like it's a big breakout, which is great. Even if it sucks if we miss trades for sure. Let's keep going through. But at the same time, we are at least seeing movement into a growth segment. IBM, no. Intel, it's given most of it back. Very sad. Come on, Intel. Come on, turn around. Small caps are up 1%. How is that compared to the Dow? Dow is up 1.3, a little bit more. JCI turning back around. I might be wanting to run again. It is right up against this resistance, however. So that certainly has me pause. Lumentum is big day down. Eli Lilly, big day down. Look at Lam Research. Same kind of a thing. We were looking for this, and then it turns, and then it runs, and then you're just, it's a tough one. Definitely showing some momentum, though. Macy's. I think Macy's is valid. Good confirmation. Same trade that you would have had here. So this is definitely a viable option. Maybe looking for 24 as the first target. Maybe let's measure it. And I want to make sure that it's done this at least another time. And you can see it took a little while, but it did do it there. But because of that, I'm actually going to be a little... Let's move this angle down just a little bit. So I'm not looking for all of that. I'm looking for a little bit less now. I want to be realistic. It's a little bit more in this range, right? Okay, so I put that there. Do I still have a good trade on my hand? That puts my high up around 24.50. Now, here's the other thing with something like this. Let's go to the Heikin-Ashi candles because I think I might have a better ability to put a tighter stop. So if I'm getting in at 22.82 and I use yesterday's stop, and then I'm going to adjust it. Let's put yesterday's in. 22.13. We'll go 22.05. That's about 77 cents. 77 cents to the downside. To the upside, I have 25.55. Current price is 22.83, and we divide that by 77, 3.5. Yeah, okay, another 3.5. Stops in this area. We're going to see if we can't let that. Right, that would be the thought process for something like this. Trend looks good. Looks like it's shifting. We have all the same, right? If you look back, what did this move start with? Turning the Heikin-Ashis, stochastics turning up. What did this move, right? And then it did this. What did this start with? Red to white, stochastics turning. What do we have now? Red to white, stochastics turning. We don't have to overcomplicate this. We have a good trend. Give me your thoughts. Consumer discretionary, a little bit of momentum there. Look at that. It's already 8:25. I got to hurry up now. You guys got me talking so much. MasterCard. Nope. Get out of the Heikin-Ashi. MasterCard. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's so volatile. I don't know if I want to trade either that or Visa. Meta's trying to turn around. Morgan Stanley's jumping. If you're wondering, oh, Scott, were you patient with that one? I took this one back here. I didn't alert, I don't think, on this one. But it did turn, and I'm like, I got out. And then it's like, yeah, look how smart I am. And then it's like, boom, boom. Microsoft. Down. Micron. Overextended. No for Netflix. Nvidia. It's kind of flat. Palantir trying to figure it out. The Qs are up 1%, but just kind of showing some stability. The Real, maybe. Rocket Lab. Looked like it was going to be a signal. Maybe it still is going to be. Roku still kind of flat. Ross Stores, like Macy's, turning up. Maybe an opportunity there. RTX. It's a little interesting. Silver's back up, at least to some extent. So choppy up here. Yeah, I mean, this is just, look at how this is playing. That's a lot of volatility there, my friends. SNDK, maybe a little cup, which may need a handle. I love cup and handles. If you start to see some of these patterns showing up and we see that consolidation sitting above that 50-day moving average. Yeah. Not now, though. SPY looks pretty good. There it is, starting to turn. Showing a little more strength. We're up 0.76% now. STX. Okay, nope. Turning around. Teradyne, gone. So fast. Nothing we can do, right? Unless you have alerts ready. TJX, another consumer discretionary. You can see that's a sector where the momentum is showing signs of a pullback trigger trade entry opportunity. Tesla's trying to stabilize above the 50. Anyone who likes to trade that. TSM, like Micron, kind of just shot. Dollar index trying to recover down here. I swear this is just like it didn't adjust. It paid out a big dividend, but then it doesn't adjust it, so it looks like a gap. Just doesn't adjust it. That's what I'm convinced of it. I haven't confirmed that, but you can see there's not even volume there. So how's the VIX look? Stable, but it's still up. Again, the SPY is up 0.76%, and the VIX is also up. Also up. WBD. What are the implications of that? With the VIX, is this a... Oh, no, I wouldn't drop it from here. I'm just saying it's a little bit interesting. It may not mean anything, but it is interesting. There's my bonsai reminder.
This is a reminder. Submit weekly invoice.
Sorry, distracted. That's not my reminder for my bonsai. Okay, no, I wouldn't change my score because it's still down here at 15, but it's not enough for me to raise the score. I needed to kind of close down here around the 14 or under level, and right now it hasn't done that yet. WBD, flat, WDC, Walmart we put on, good day Friday, trying to hold on now. This is the second try, so for me it's kind of do or die here. I'm not going to give it too much leeway. We'll see what happens. Okay. Yeah, we've got setups in a couple of key areas. If you got some trades on in financials, good. You caught it. Managing trades in other areas, hoping that they get some additional continuation. That's it. That's the story we have. We'll look to do the same thing tomorrow morning. Do I remember who had an issue with the options log? No. If you're the one who had the issue with the options log, Stephen is definitely a great resource. Did we answer the Intel questions? Was it helpful to dive deeper into the Analyze tab to look at the stops, the targets, the pressure release lines, what's at risk, what's at reward? Oh, good. Okay. Well, love it. We'll do more of the same. All right, you guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow morning, same time. As always, happy trading.